Welcome back to our coverage of WAMO for our last match of the live stream. It is going to be the finals of the team event Division 1, and it is something different if you're a USA Darts fan. It's going to be Black Saddle and Saloon taking it on, and this should be very interesting to see how this one will play out with Black Saddle going on the run and completing the win against Milwaukee Monsters, the bane of their existence the last couple of years. Now they have a new challenge in front of them, double dipping Sam's Saloon, who was looking pretty tough earlier. And we'll see what ends up happening with this matchup. There's anything that can happen. I'm knowing that it's the last match of a 5-day stream. It's going to be tiebreaker into double dip into tiebreaker, and then anybody can win. So that's how this works. Strap in, folks. Sit back, relax. We got darts here for at least another 30 minutes to an hour. We're going to have fun watching every bit of it along the way. Scuba Steve Diker back in the mix. I did see a question here from Jason Will talking about why Black Saddle has 5 team members. So there was actually John Pilgrim was gonna not be able to make it initially, and then was able pretty late into the game, able to make it out here to be able to play. So they wanted to be able to have Pilgrim be team, but Gauthier was obviously super cool to set up to the line. So they wanted to make sure to find a way to make both work, and what they decided to do was, well, go ahead and have a rotating cast where they rotate who's sitting out each time. So Steve Diker and John Pilgrim are in for this one. I don't know who's sitting. We'll find out in a moment based on who's playing in the next couple. And then just from the top, Black Saddle's team does consist of Bob Anderson, John Pilgrim, Matt Gauthier, Matt Graff, and Steve Diker. Sam's Saloon, Brad Zimlow, Derek Schneider, Jose Campin, Leon Hopkins, and Matthew Jenkins. Brad has not been playing. I don't know if he was an original substitution or not. I've not seen. He wasn't here yesterday either, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that front, but I don't recall it. Do you think because we don't have Phil Klomsky here, we can go ahead and adjust our camera to be a little bit more of a tighter shot? Pilgrim said his darts were feeling good. Well, they were looking good earlier. Guntrust tried to continue to stay with his hot hand. Good 140 on the turn. And Jenkins going to try to leave a finish. Jose back at 419. Freeze is already on for leg number 1. The alternating start, it's just about holding your throw, so no alarm bells yet. Just trying to get settled in after their break from the match win in the seat, which was a little bit ago, admittedly. With Steve only at 117, wanted to leave it a little bit lower, but again, no immediate harm in sight. Pilgrim sets up the 120. Max pressure now on for leg number 1. Black Saddle going to try to ride their momentum, right? If you're Black Saddle, you're thinking, I just beat the boogeyman, the one that was getting us the whole time. They're going to be pretty excited about this opportunity. And I think we're going to see a very strong version of themselves. I don't think they're the type that are going to ease their shoulders because they're not going to take Sam Saloon lightly. But I think that confidence boost of getting the win against a team that has gotten their number the last couple of years is going to be something that really carries over in a heavy way. A little risky in that last start there from Scuba. Could have accidentally hit 57. Does hit a big trip on the last. It needs to push the advantage. 133 needs to get brought all the way down, just in case. Never expect to have opportunities in legs like this, but doesn't mean you're not going to try to carve one out just in case. There you go. Scuba. Steve Diker does hit 54. Black Saddle gets leg number 1 on the board in this final. You want on the end? As he does recover, we saw a little bit of struggles at the prior leg, right? Where he wasn't able to get in real strong. Instead, was able to still be able to get in here. John Pilgrim having the best of the bunch so far. Bob Anderson in as well for this one. Leon Hopkins on the other side. Good shot there from Leon Hopkins. Finds a 140. John's going to try to follow in suit with at least 100. Again, the USA Darts hat plus patch combo usually leads to a very successful hit rate, so could be something in his favor. Look at this, John Pilgrim. It's a 180. See, you compliment the hat, you compliment the patch, and all of a sudden you're hitting some magnificent darts, and that's another good shot there. Starts the challenge. You see the bottom score lines, 450, 450. And 308, it's a lot harder to leave a check at than 223 is, so this is getting interesting very quick. Anderson trying to make sure he falls with Jose. Does hit a nice 133. Does a good job of keeping right in range. Only 12 points of separation on the bottom side. Leon going to feel some pressure. Won't be able to leave a finish now. So Pilgrim, go ahead and continue on his fight. That 180 was massive. Can he follow it with another good shot? We'll leave a finish. Not as ideal as he would have liked. And pulled that last dart a little bit to the right. But still, 134 is the first look. And if you're trying to break the throw, you're trying to get that 2-0 lead, then you get the throw in the next. I mean, that's a very powerful position to find yourself in. Oh, Bob. Bob really wanted that 171. Yeah, you see, he's around that USA Darts patch. Must be helping out. I don't know why I'm plugging that like it's like a merch plug. Like we mostly give them out, and occasionally you can pick them up for sale if you see a Magic Wear booth. But apparently, they do seem to be helping out. Good 101. To leave the 112. Pilgrim, not even as pressure to take this, is more so to just make sure to hit at least 100. Stack on that dart. Should be able to sneak one in. I would stay there. Like, I wouldn't have backed off the line. Yes, trip 20 for double 18 is a way better setup. I wouldn't be worried as much about my setup as I am just making sure Leon doesn't get shot at the 112. He walked himself off the line, only hit a single on the last. But if Jose hits a big shot here, might not be in range. I mean, it could still technically always be in range of the freeze from where this position is, but still, you got to factor that decision a little bit. And sometimes just getting down is better. But it doesn't matter if this is the case. They're not going to be happy with those darts. Does find a trip 20 on the last. 95 is the target line, so Bob looking for just basically 100 points here. Good first start for Bob. Good second dart. Freeze is on. And that's a big shot there from Bob Anderson with a 174. My goodness. What a shot to hit to try to set your team up to go 2-0 up in the finals. Good shot there, John Pilgrim. Giving a little sauce on the shot. And that's a 2-0 lead for Black Saddle, who now gets the darts in the next leg. Race to 4. If the Black Saddle gets the 4 legs, we're going to another best of 7. I'm cheering for nothing more than more darts. So therefore, I want Black Saddle to win. But then after they get to the second set, I want whoever wants it more to win. But I do like all these guys. These are some great competitors and some great friends on the dartboard. You can see Matt Graff is the one sitting for Black Saddle in this matchup. See him walking in the background, just cheering on, supporting his team. E9 for Bob. Bob, Matt, and Leon all in. Oh, Derek well off to double 20. That's a double 1 on the last. The barest of bare minimums. But an ends and in. Make up for the distance later in the leg. more of a morale frustrating situation than it is anything else. Not moral. There's no moral issue with the double one. Look at that 180 there. Forgot the air. 241 after 6. Loving this position that they're in. Would have to think. Bob only with the 58, so slows down. Gives Derek time to catch up a little bit of the distance. Maybe even gain a little bit of ground if he hits a 180. That's a switch. Over on the 19 should be able to help him find the trip on the last, but no, sinks down and right. So still facing a roughly 90-point deficit. Matt could be the first one at a finish. You can see Sam Saloon looking serious and looking frustrated. Good 100. Leaves the 141. 363 obviously cannot get set up. If I'm Sam Saloon, I don't know which team member I'd be leaving to, but I would just be giving a little bit of the pep talk to the boys and just say, hey, we're okay. This is a little bit of a scare, but this is why you win the seat. So if something like this happens, you can go ahead and either A, still get back into this match with what would be a very impressive comeback, or B, just set the next set on the right precedent, right? Momentum is a heck of a drug, and right now Black Saddle is just living on it. Look at that, Bob Anderson, 171 for Bobby Boy. It's 41 there. Derek and Leon more than likely going to take the L on this leg. Have to try to do a reverse sweep in this matchup to get back into winning it here. But your mentality is more about getting your darts settled, getting your mentality settled, and knowing that you have the confidence to continue on and continue out. See Bob trying to find an angle. Would like to stay on the 19. Does end up going back up to the 20 anyways. Don't think there's anything wrong with that. Again, just with the situation, 164 has no chance to go. 180 gets hit to leave 220 and would still not have a serious chance. Or any chance. So you're not worried about the situation. You're just trying to the only reason I would be frustrated if I was Bob or Matt in those last 3 darts is for no other reason than I want to continue to put foot to pedal and pedal to floor. I want them to feel every bit of this pressure and make it feel like it's not going to stop. Double 14 does go. That's a 3-0 lead for Black Saddle in this final over Sam's Saloon. They are on a mission. Like I said, they defeated their boogeyman. Now they're trying to become that themselves. 4 final appearances in a row. I don't know if there's a team that has accomplished something like that. Again, I kind of talked about it out there with a little bit, and asked about some of the days before USA Darts was involved in streaming. 4 finals in a row. I don't know if that's been accomplished. I don't believe so. So to have that accomplishment is already a big one. Now there is definitely teams that have had more wins than 4 finals that have been in more than 4 finals, but the consecutive part is what is fascinating to me. We know some of the big boys of old would love to see them back into the mix because man, oh man, I would love to see how these finals would look going forward if we had all those teams back in the fray. $100 on the score there for Derek. Good recovery. He struggled a lot in that last leg. Got there to try to respond. Justin, this is the last event. Matt Graff tuning in, saying more than 4, I believe. More than 4 like finals appearances in a row? That'd be pretty sick. That would definitely predate USA Darts' coverage. That would have been a while back now. We started covering this tournament 2022 with Sean Green and Will Stewart, and then me and Will Stewart in 2023. Will and some remote help in 2024, and then me and some remote help in 2025. Crazy to see how much time has passed with all that. That's saying, yeah, so even more impressive if that's the case. You know it has to be a lot of finals appearances in a row if you're having trouble remembering how many in a row it's been. Oh, Patrick tuning in. Thank you for giving us your viewers, because remember, when you're watching, you're supporting us whether you comment nice things or not. These guys are having fun playing. What are you doing? Having fun hating? No, you're not. No one has fun hating. Justin Hightower asking, what's the next event for USA Darts? We will be taking a very, very short break because we will be live. First off, we'll be live on Tuesday for DPFL and Thursday as well, I believe. And then Thursday on next week, we also go live for our dual streaming coverage with Bullshooter for the Chicago World Finals. So we'll be live there on Thursday to Monday. And then it'll be a small intermission of just some DPFL streams until we get to that Challenger versus Champion PPD show. And then we have the start of the WCS with PPD as well. Landon, valid. Back to the match. Now there does get to 281. Pretty close one so far, favoring Sam Saloon because they're going first and slightly ahead on both score lines. But it's still within striking distance for the very informed Black Saddle team. WCS will be the second Monday of June, which would be the 9th. Apparently, that's also when my Google Drive bill is due, if anybody's curious, according to my calendar. So there you go. 2 fun facts for 1. You get a chance to, speaking of other events that USA Darts is doing, talk with a couple of different organizers about some potential events to add into our calendar for this year or even one for next year. And do want to say that I'm excited by these opportunities. If you're ever a tournament organizer and you see us at an event, of course, you can talk with us. But just go to usadarts.live, fill out the information, or reach out to myself or Will Stewart directly, and we're happy See what we can do to try to be at your next event. $197 for Matthew Jenkins. Just try to continue to set this up. Good last start. Jason Owens asking two big questions here. Which is the largest dart tournament? Just by number of players, you would have to go with WAMO, the Wisconsin State Dart Tournament. But Tournament Champions and NDA Team Dart are both tournaments that also have very large and sizable fields as far as for quantity. And then is USA Darts mostly in the Midwest? Referring to darts players, there's a large population in the Midwest, but there's East Coast has a strong steel tip population. West Coast has a nice soft tip population, and the West, Midwest, there's a lot of dart players everywhere. As far as USA Darts broadcasting, I currently live in Florida, about to move to Rockford, Illinois, and Will Stewart lives in Wichita, Kansas. So we're kind of spread out a little bit. And Heather, we will know soon. We're obviously working with Doug, trying to see what we can do as far as for scheduling to see if we can be back, because we would love to be back for that tournament. Doug's Sports Pub Darts Championship in Plover, Wisconsin. We've been doing that tournament since 2022 or 2023. 2022. That was remote, and then 2 years in person. Back to the match. Steve Diker, if this 152 goes, would be something ludicrous. It won't happen. And more than likely, the mat will also be frozen. Trip 20. Doesn't find the trip 20. Big last start, because that was looking very sketchy there for a second, because Scuba Steve at 145 was still going to make sure the freeze was in play, unfortunately. So Matt will not be able to take out 100. Sam Saloon should be able to get one leg on the board, but again, facing 3-0 down, I mean, it's a brutal position to find yourself in, because you know Black Shadow's going to have to throw in the next, and they could have that 4-1 advantage going in and winning the first set. Can't think about that, though, if you're Sam Saloon. You got to think, man, just hold on. We got the first leg on the board, and we didn't even have to crop dust to get it. Patrick, I'll answer your question if you say something nice about one of these dart players. Bob Anderson goes ahead and gets a start. 51 on the end. Nothing fancy there. Don't press if you're Jenkins or Hopkins. You just need to play the same game you've been playing all week long. Good marker dart. You would think. Does get it on the last. And again, Matt shaking his head. He obviously wanted more, but at the very least, he did enough to make sure he didn't lose any ground. 11 points is effectively not lost ground. Cuba, same thing. Also 51 on the end. Parity on the Black Saddle team's side of the affair. Leon, not wasting no time on the double, though. Jenkins does not find a trip, but does lead the pack by 20 points. Bob Anderson going first. Wants to take advantage of the position that they're in. Wants to have some good power scoring. Continue to pile on the pressure. $95, solid scoring visit, but not the power scoring that, again, he was envisioning. If you're Black Saddle in this position, you're thinking, man, I just got to really put the pressure on. I want to continue to ride this out. I don't want to just win. I want to dominate for the rest of this. Because then you go into that next set with that mentality and that fire. $35 for Scuba helps out to the bottom side of the score line. I'm just staying barely in front of Matt. Leon all over the bottom side of that 20. Can't get one in the trip bed. And a little bit of separation starting to build again. Sam Saloon needs 3 legs as well as the one they already got for this to be able to go in their direction. Look at this from Bob. Oh, you thought it was going to be a 171. It's still a great shot. 123. First start slipped out of Jenkins' hands, it seems, all the way down low on the 12. Well, not the tight darts you would expect, and that was a very errant turn at 14 points scored. Doesn't guarantee that this leg's going to Black Saddle, but it heavily favors them now to take this first set. Good shot there from Leon. Helps keep the bottom side still in the game. Appreciate the feedback there, Jason. Always looking for ways to improve our broadcast here. I want you guys to know while the dart hall is thinning out, currently there is almost all of Kendrick Lamar's current catalog coming out and playing on the jukebox. It is banging out there. Matt does recover quite well after a strugglesome leg. Finally, he's getting back into the mix. Scuba, good switch in the last. Make sure to leave a finish. So that way they have the first look. His leg isn't over yet. And this set isn't even over yet. Leon needs to not only leave a finish, but needs to be a good finish. Cover shot? Oh, he's able to find it in there. Great darts for the 140. Gonna have to make sure to dig deep. Put pressure on Jenkins for a freeze. It's 3 big singles, 57 on the turn. Jenkins can guarantee that there's no freeze in play for Leon. Won't be able to get low enough to freeze Scuba Steve. Oh no. Oh no. 64 is now target land. If Scuba gets a 64, Leon cannot shoot the 90. Trip 20, double 16 is the target shot. And no worries now for Leon. He will get a swing at 90. Make this 3-2 and keep the dream alive for Sam's being able to win this first set. Stay there. Bullseye. Oh, and sails that dart. Not happy with it. Now Bob Anderson gets a look at the 117. Shooting a lot of 19s. I wouldn't be surprised if we started there. Double 20 for double 19. What you got for us, Bob? No, not going to happen. Has to continue to bring it on down. Good last start for 99 on the score. Matt Jenkins at 182 legitimately wants to hit a 180 to leave 2. Play for that freeze. Again, they can't freeze Steve Diker at 111. To play in turn for the freeze, so that way Leon should be able to shoot. To clarify what I meant there. Scuba Steve Diker. 111 in a dream. Send this to the second set. Played for the bull. Doesn't happen. Won't get a dart. That not being a trip. Very dangerous. Because now if 41 doesn't go, there's still a good chance that Bob Anderson will not get shot the 18. Level 16. Sam's Saloon lives to see another leg. It's now 3-2 in this matchup. And they get the darts in the next. They could potentially send this to a last leg decider from this route, but it's a tough position to find. And guys, we got the bull hitters joining us. Famous for not only trying American food, but also, I don't know, having a killer darts channel and crushing it over at Modus. Love to see it. How you doing, boys? No Will Stewart, you're stuck with Nick to share it today, but don't you worry. I'll make you guys better American food next time a big event comes around. Schneider does go ahead and get in with a ton. To go 3-0 down and try to do a reverse sweep would be something incredible to see from the seat holders of Sam's Saloon. Back out the air. Try to get in as well. Having trouble finding the 20. Sings all three almost to the same spot. Would have loved to see some movement around the board. I don't like the commitment of staying up there if you don't find it on the first. There, Jose doesn't get in either. And by this logic, that means John Pilgrim's going to get in. Outside. Does find the 16. Does recover to 19. So, yep, you can see now the score lines for Derek and John showing some parity, and Matt and Jose on the other side. Sam Saloon just needs to play consistent. I want to be honest, boys. I can't guarantee no crop dusting. I mean, not from us, probably. I don't know. Jen Mounts. You never know with her. Don't tell her I said that. I like my job. Matt needs to get in. He messed around with it on the first go. This time finds success. Oh, and he's going to go ahead and really take advantage. Finds 120. And makes up for lost ground. Only a 21-point separation on those A score lines. In victory, no, there is not. But hopefully we'll have more confirmation on the dates soon enough. Everyone's in. On Pilgrim to go ahead and see if we can push out in front. Oh, look at this. Good timing from Pigworm. Finds a 135 that looked prettier than that. Eric has had up and down moments, but it seems like he's definitely picked it up since where we saw him earlier in this final. It is interesting with this team format of having that break in between legs, where you're sitting down for sometimes 2-3 legs, where you're up and throwing again. Team format is one of the hardest formats to play, let alone a team format of double-double split. It is a marathon, but it's also hard because it's not like you're warming up when you're waiting for your next play. Good 180 there. Black Saddle continues to show that they can pile on the pressure at all times. They needs to find a good turn here, or else Derek won't have a chance at a finish. Bill, I wouldn't doubt it. I've already mentally prepared for it. Burger might want to switch. Kisses off the flight into the trip. Does switch on the last. Doesn't collect. Needed 2 troubles regardless of where he switched to. You can see 379 points is the combined score, meaning that Derek's already frozen. He's not even had a finish yet. Black Saddle should be able to win from this position, but we've seen crazier things happen today. Guys, don't worry. Matt Graff actually brought one of his cases of his shoe collection back here in the stream room. I would have expected 57 for 24. Instead went 51 to leave 30. That Wisconsin math just hits different out here. He doesn't actually have a case of shoes here, by the way. I just lied. Sorry, Matt Graff. Now, looking for the cover. Finds the cover on the 19. He's going to stay. Yeah, I like that. Gets all the way down to 44 and 75. Black Saddle's going to go ahead and lock in the first set here, it seems. No last leg decider. And if that happens at this point, it would be because of a complete floundering of Black Saddle's opportunities. That's up for 16. After missing the 32. 180 needed. And I say that because you need to have a finish. It's the only way out of the scenario. It doesn't get to a finish at 174. So now you have to fade another 6 darts at minimum. Double 16. Not quite yet. Over to the double 8. Does go. Black Saddle completes the first dip in this final. So now they're going to go ahead and play one more set. One more best of 7 to decide it all. Doing some hugs and handshakes across the board. I imagine they're not going to take very long. I'm going to go ahead and get right into the fray. You would think. Looks like they're going to go ahead and get everything set up here real quick. Victor saying Luke and Luke in the World Cup. It's going to be crazy to see how they would throw on a soft tip board. Yeah, you're telling me. I think the soft tip board would just turn off because it would be too busy trying to do all the math. It would hurt its computer. Jenkins finds a bowl on the top side. Might be a tie. Did Scuba get it? Scuba might have got it. They're all having little team meetings on the side. You can actually see them all having a chat over here. Actually, switch to this angle. You can see all the teams talking it out, taking this moment, knowing that they need to lock it in and rain through 4 big wins, 4 legs. Nothing else today matters. Now, everything else has already happened. That's the past. This is one set that decided all. Black Saddle deciding their order. Sam Saloon giving a motivational talk. Here we go. Matt Graff, team captain, going to set up the order. Let's actually see who he's putting in. And see what their setup is. Normally we don't show this part where they're setting it up. I'm curious to see who's sitting on Black Saddle. If Matt's going to take the seat again or if he's going to play on through. Everyone played strong on Black Saddle, so I don't know if I would change much. But then again, Matt was part of the success in the seat we saw. Scuba in the top position. Out there in the second. Pilgrim in the third. Bob in the fourth. Matt Graff is going to go ahead and take the sit. Now they're going to go and set the order on the other side. This will also decide because, again, they have the different starting orders and the automatic setup of each leg. They're not actively doing any team switches. Once it's locked in, you're set for that set. So this final set, Matt Graff will be wearing out his Nikes even more. And Scuba Steve Diker will begin the start. This is what it comes to. This is our last match of the 2025 40th annual WAMO Dart Tournament. Over 4,800 plus players showed up to this event. 310 dartboards showed up to this event. Nick Dichiria showed up to this event. And now we get to decide who will be your Division I team champion. Will Black Saddle get across that hurdle that has been losing in the final for the last 3 years? Will they be able to hoist that trophy? Will Sam Saloon go ahead and finish what I wouldn't call a Cinderella run? It's not like we didn't expect that team to do well. We saw that they did, I believe they were undefeated in their round robin that we saw yesterday. But in the same vein, when you're all the conversations about Milwaukee Monsters and Black Saddle, no one was factoring Sam Saloon the way they probably should have. And they know that if they play their best darts like they did in the seat, that they're going to be a tough, tough team to beat. And that, in fact, they can go ahead and win. This is all about pride. Yes, there's some money on the line. But really, this is about pride. And that is the biggest factor that decides all of this. Scuba did not get in on the first onslaught, but neither did Matt Jenkins. So this will be an opportunity. Goes ahead and finds a double 60 on the first, over to the 19s. I don't like that he switched in the last, just because it felt like he had a good marker marker dart. I mean, struggled a lot in that first set. Seems like he's going to have to really switch it around here in the second, and that's a good start to it with the 121 on the shot. John Pilgrim. Let's see what he can do. man who wasn't sure if he's even going to be able to make this event. Playing pretty well. In fact, excellent at times. Finds a 140. Matt Jenkins sitting back at 501. Needs to get in and start playing ball. John's going to try to keep with Jose. Matt needs to keep up with Steve. That is really how you kind of have to evaluate it. You're saying 300 plus boards is crazy. Logistics of setting these events up is solid. Yeah, you got to say that from what I heard, they were very quick on their setup here. I'm assuming they're going to be, about 6 hours. Is that right? 6 hours to set it up. That isn't okay. That I knew they were efficient. That's insane. Get confirmation here. Backgrounds. Cuba's last start wasn't in the 20. Did go over to the trip 1. Jose now can go ahead and push out. Find another one of those 19s. Seemed inviting. He goes ahead and answers the call. 134. Pilgrim can still be the first one out of finish. Considering Jenkins 6 missed darts on the end. His first leg is looking heavy for Black Saddle, who already completed that first dip. It was 3-2, and it was almost a 4-0 in that first dip. Seems to have been battling it out. This is technically their third match now, right? Played once on the seats. They played first set, and now they're here. Been a back and forth affair. Finally end, but just no real damage done. Sam Saloon needs to make sure to find their rally cry. They need to start firing on all cylinders together, not individually at times. $19 points there from Scuba says, here's your first favor. I'll slow it down a little bit, let you guys have a chance. Saying Jess, Jose, go ahead and try to leave a finish. He has to leave a finish at the bare minimum. And trip 20 leaves a little fish. I say that because there is a route here where John and Steve have some lax turns and Jenkins hits a big 180. Potentially have a shot to 130. You have to always stay in the leg no matter how unlikely it seems. We've seen a lot of doubles squandered. The reason it couldn't happen now. Although John Pilgrim says, I'm going to make you look silly, Nick, and set this up. I was going to set up a little bit more after that first start, but 63 on the turn. Jenkins needs to find a max. You're saying, I'll be going to my first ever event this year at Orlando. Excited for the competition. Well, there you go. Welcome to the world of soft tip darts. Jenkins pulling left and right. Lets us know exactly how he feels about it as well. Scuba. Try to recover from the strugglesome last turn. Still pulling into the 1. See him throwing up in frustration. 2 different ways before finding a single 19. This is insane if this goes. Sam Saloon should never have had a sniff at a leg like this. You would typically think that all of a sudden 130 is eligible. Find a trip 20. No, goes low on the wire. Got your opportunity. I don't think you get 2 opportunities in this leg. Pilgrim at 108. 80 for 14. Goes down for 16 for 32. Goes outside on the last. Showing some frustration on his face, but it was a good look at it. Has to throw a good rounded. He needs another trip. 100 scored there means that Scuba only needs to hit around 16 some change. trip here for Scuba. See Matt Graff calling it in the background. Doesn't go the direction he expected. But it is enough to freeze. 3 points. He does not get the other shot that he was hoping for. 16. Does get all the way down to 2. And I'll die on this hill as John Pilgrim's going to go ahead and send this first leg to Black Saddle, you would think. Does do. But there's no reason to get set up at 2 if you can set up 4, just because of the freeze math. There's no advantage to it unless you really don't like double 2. We've been seeing that a lot today with the setups here. I just think it would be a little bit more efficient if we were leaving at 4. Technically, you can leave a little, anything under 10 is usually enough, but you're thinking about every possible contingency, including what you have to shoot when you go back. And not like that second dart at all. I had to fully step off the line. Still 40 on the end. Bare minimum on the assignment. John Pilgrim, I think, having probably the hottest hand of the bunch. Bob Anderson having some of the biggest moments of the team. I think his timing on the 171s he's been hitting has been nothing short of incredible. If he keeps that up, it's going to be very, very tough. And again, this is not the same Sam Saloon that we saw in the seat match. They need to figure out how to get back to that point. The American saying, I'm calling it now. Sitting Matt Graff was a huge mistake. I don't think that that's a huge mistake by any means. I do think, however, it's one of those things where I think Matt Graff is probably the one, out of that whole team, they're all really nice guys, don't get me wrong. But Matt's going to be the one least bothered by sitting to help them go in there and just say, hey, I'll support you guys. I'm going to go ahead. Because no one wants to be the guy that sits if you're the 5th man on the totem pole. And they've been rotating all day long, and it was probably his turn when they got to the final, and he was like, it's okay, I'm going to sit. And that maybe they could have reevaluated going into the second set, but when you just won the first set with a 3-0 advantage, it ended up being a 4-2 win, why would you change it? I don't think it's a mistake. I think, if anything, it shows their comfortability working together as a team. Good 180 from Leon Hopkins as I'm rambling about Matt Graff once again. I'm going to have to try to answer with one of his own. Going to be able to do so. Put the cover on the last of the 19s. Sam Saloon just trying to hold their throw. All 81 on the turn again. Nothing fancy, but you're not worried about fancy as much as you're worried about fancy when you have to break. I'm worried about getting one good treble. Hopefully, I follow it with 2 good singles, right? You compare it to the world of cricket, if you're not as familiar with watching 0-1 potentially. If you're hitting 100 points a turn, if you're hitting a 5 mark on the 20s, that's a 5-0 if you're doing that every single time. And that should always be the baseline goal. Yes, you can see players absolutely hit 2 or 3 trebles consistently across multiple turns, and that is the expectation when it comes to winning darts. But the average turn, especially in a format where it's race to 4, it's a little bit longer, and there's so many players throwing in between your throws and you're sometimes sitting for a couple legs, is just about those consistent moments. That's what makes of a champion. Look, I'm taking himself out for a second. You have to reset. Let's find a trip on the last for the 100. Leon does not have a finish, but should be the first one at a finish if Bob Anderson doesn't leave one. If Jose leaves a finish from here, he's cheating. Oh, a good 140. This is what Black Saddle needs, though. They need Bob Anderson to go ahead and take 279 out in 6. below the triple bed. Won't be able to leave a finish. Goes over to the neighbor. Wrong time to be asking for sugar. Now Leon gets to be the first one out of finish. You don't leave a finish from here, you're going to be awfully frustrated. But we'll be able to leave a finish here 10 times out of 10, it seems. I'm going to challenge. In case the 96 doesn't go. Oh, and this is the third or fourth time now we've seen John really struggle on setup shots like this, either going for numbers that would not leave you a finish, or in that situation there, not being a little extra careful with that last start because the one left the 168, which is the like heavily on the side of Sam Saloon now to go. Anderson to try to leave a finish just in case. Happy with that first start. Needs to find a trip on this last. Does do so. Leon gets a shot now at 96 to make this one apiece. Trip 12, single 20, double 20. Just kidding. See, they're shutting down in the background. Dartboard's getting wheeled away. Don't worry. They're going where they're supposed to go. They're not just getting taken. Probably. Needs to get all the way down to make sure the 120 doesn't go, that Bob Anderson has a chance at the 134. .46 is all that Jose has to get to freeze. I really need that last trip to go in. Make sure you really drill this bull attempt. You do not want to have a bad fallout right now. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Just enough 84. I was worried when I saw the fallouts. You can see them wiping the sweat off the brow in the background over there. That was a little dangerous. 134 cannot go for Mr. Anderson. Sam Saloon should be able to take this first leg on the board. Fortunately, Bob doesn't get it low enough, so unless Leon busts, there's a good chance that John will not have a shot at 87. But again, you expect this to go. Gotta be careful. Doesn't bust, so job's still done. John Pilgrim cannot shoot 87. John had to slow himself down for a second. He's like, okay, how do I hit 23? Oh, no good. How can I hit 25? Oh, dangerous. This is when you turn around to Daddy Matt Graff and say, hey, what do I shoot at? Having the debates. See where he goes with this last start. Single 19 for 8. Fine in this scenario. Under Leon. Means if 44 doesn't go, Bob Anderson will have a chance. I drill it. And now it's 1-1 in this matchup. Sam Saloon has a leg on the board in the second set. Just to hold a throw. For the most part, they were in pretty good control, and then it got a little sketchy at the end there. Matt to get the start for Black Saddle. See which version of him we get. We've seen some really brilliant moments, and we've seen some very wild misses at times. Good double 20. Solid 60 on the open. Doing a lot of cheering there for Sam Saloon tuning in. Welcome in, everybody. We're still here at the Rush Center. They're giving out dartboards out front. You just got to go and grab it from the truck driver really fast. Shot there from Leon, by the way. It's a 108 on the open. And I hope you guys have been enjoying our coverage here of WAMO, the 40th annual tournament. 40 years strong, hopefully 40 more in the future, and much, much more. It was a lot of fun being out here. We've been out here streaming this since 2022, I believe. My first one was 2023. Bob does solid on the end as well, so pressure a little bit on Derek to make sure he keeps up with the class. But did he study for the assignment? That's not a passing grade. It's 3 on the open, but Leon had the best open of the bunch. There's your silver lining. You just need to really make up for lost ground on the next. You can see Jose giving a hand heart in the background. I tell Derek to shake it off and not worry about it. Good last start there from Gauthier. That wasn't the follow-up that Leon wanted. 59 on the score. Barely in front on the A side of the score. Bob can really press the advantage. The worst thing you can do here is to only hit like 60, right? If you're Bob, because you don't want them to Derek to then go and hit a 160 in, and then all of a sudden be like, yeah, I'm completely back in this. You want to still feel like you're in front. It's a little bit of a subconscious thing. Derek does need to get in though. He needs to make sure he settles himself in a moment like this. 4 missed starts on the end. Finds it on the 5th. Will he be able to get himself back into this leg before the freeze play starts coming into fruition here? Now, with watching Matt's throw, I've always was told when I was learning how to throw and getting into the game that you want to really make sure you kind of like point at your target on your follow through, but he takes that very literally. He gives a full finger gun at the end of his throw. It's impressive. Now with 81 on the turn, 33 points of separation on the top side. Anderson can go ahead and right now the 110 points already have a freeze on Leon. Lit up the threes. They are done and dusted. 21 points scored. He's going to feel frustrated because that's an opening for Derek to get right back into the leg. Still going to have advantage for Black Saddle going first, but could have had a almost unbeatable advantage. There was a good turn hit there. Instead, it becomes achievable again. Still favoring Black Saddle. Every leg matters, especially because you want to get the break. Because the last thing you want to do is go and start worrying about that last leg decider with 701 points in front of your victory. That thing is a marathon and a beast. Uh-oh, for Matt. Struggles back to back for Black Saddle. And Hopkins to be the first one at a finish, despite the circumstance. No, he will not take that opportunity. Only pulls out ahead by 5 points. Bob has hit the 3 segment 4 darts in a row, and if I'm him, I'm switching to the 20s at this point. Does find the trip 19 and finds it for another. He knows where the 19 was, and he's frustrated that those darts were disobeying him for as long as they were. Eric, 41 points on the turn. Doesn't really help the cause at all. Needed to get back into the 190 range where everyone else has been living. Matt picking back up, finding the 20 with success. Still only 70 points after a good first start. And does get to a finish, but more than likely will not be able to shoot at it with where Derek is positioned. Bob's first start isn't at a 3, so he's ecstatic. You can see it on his face. Fortunately, still not finding exactly what he had in mind with just 43 points scored. I mean, Derek could absolutely get right back into this. Black Saddle's scoring is kind of slow to a crawl. One good round makes a big difference. All of a sudden, a freeze or a freeze now is in consideration because Matt at 128 needs to try to see if he can take it. If not, he can freeze Leon. Needs to get the 44. Doesn't get the 44, so Leon Hopkins can shoot this 131 or break a throw. Despite the circumstances, this is incredible. Can't happen now. Up Anderson at 149. Try to take a big swing. Trip 20 for double 16. You can see Matt Graff calling for it back there already. Oh, but catches the neighbor. 57 to leave 32. Oh, and that one just kicks out. That was at the trip 19. Back to his friend, the trip 3. You can't freeze 83. All you can do is hit a big 180 to make sure 95 gets a chance. Eric, his struggles still apparent. Left a bogey at 166. Couldn't afford to do that. Black Saddle should almost guarantee to have this leg. Double 16 does go, and that's a 2-1 lead in this final for Black Saddle. Holda throws across the board, but it has had some ups and downs in these legs. Jenkins finds 45. Feels like a bare minimum on the open, but it might be more than enough if Scuba can't get in. He does get on the last, so basically chalk on the top side. Ooh, accidentally gave him 1 extra point. He evened up his score. How dare he? Trying to sneak his advantage. Still a great 100 in for Derek. Good recovery after a strugglesome last leg. You have to have the memory of a goldfish in a game like this. Got the errors in as well, so everyone in on the first go. Advantage to Sam Saloon early on. You have only 36 points on the turn. Expected a little bit more because, I mean, it's only a 35-point separation on the top side, but it's just about the statement of the scoring, right? It's so hard to stay actively engaged in the match. Not like they're not engaged. Let me rephrase that. They're engaged in the match. They very much want this. This is a crucial matchup, but it is a long matchup. It is a mentally fatiguing matchup, and you're seeing some moments of wild darts and real cold streaks happening, and it's taking different turns with different players. Because they do have screens that they're looking at to score. Those dartboards in the background, that's what the other side of them looks like. They have 2 dartboards on them. They have a 13-inch, which is it's more similar to steel tip sizing, and then the 15-inch, which is what you're seeing on this side. The screen rotates. Matt Jenkins hits a 180 as I'm explaining that. All you gotta do to throw good darts is have Nick go on a random explaining ramble of some sort, and all of a sudden things will happen. Oh, if I stop talking, can Scuba still hit the trip? It seems like he can. How about back-to-back 180s? Great shot there. He goes from ice cold in the room to everyone hitting great darts, and the only difference really being that Matt Graff snuck back here. Eric not joining in on the fun with the 20s. Matt needs to try to get back into this mix. Take advantage of that lax turn. Under the wire. Needs to really drill this dart. Does get it. Good shot there. Keeps the run alive, but Matt Jenkins should be able to be the first one out of finish. If he isn't, he'll be very frustrated. This is a good time for the event to start moving all those trash cans in the background. Great shot there on the 123 lead 95. Didn't bother Matthew Jenkins, that's for sure. That's probably true. Oh, Scuba, look at this. 5 great darts in a row. 140 scored. Challenge, Matt Jenkins. Still racing the bottom side. Needs a little help from Derek. This is that little help right here. Derek has definitely been showing some serious struggles. You can see he does leave a bogey at 162, but it's more about him getting the score down than it is about him leaving a finish. 140. That's what I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking just let me hit 140 right here. Oh, look at this. Good timing. Matt Kraft fell on the edge of his seat watching back here, and now he's gone. There's the 140 they needed. Not going to get a dart at a double. Oh, and really didn't do too much work on there. And with Derek not on a finish, 113 has a chance. Scuba gets a 3 out of the way. Bullseye needed. No, not quite. Black Saddle really wants this leg in this spot right here. Derek's still struggling. He's done that several turns in a row now where he's hit a 1 or a 3 on the first start and a 20 or a 19 on the second. Last 2 times has been a trip on the last at least. 47 is the target line, so again, another 140 needed. Oh, good first start. Good second dart. What a time this would be. Wow. Matt Jenkins is not going to look at 68. 71 combined points, frozen by effectively 9 points. 10 points would have tied their score. Having a little bit of a laugh. And you don't really want to shoot the bull to leave 4. I mean, you do. You want to hit it. Instead, it just settles for 6 because of where the math was in that situation. More important to get the guaranteed points again. Scuba missed the big number. Yeah, he has to slow down. I thought he was about to throw the dart like that. Oh my goodness. Reset, Scuba. 5 for double 4. 1 for double 6. Does go. Black Saddle now up 3-1. They do break the throw despite the circumstance. My goodness. What a dramatic way to get towards the end of that leg and way for Matt Gauthier to really just lock in and pick up his performance. And now Bob Anderson and Steve Diker have the darts with match point to complete the double dip. Sam Saloon needs to win 3 legs on the spin. Bob Anderson does get in on the second dart. Finds a trip. 71 solid opening. Finds a double on the first. $65. Only a 6-point separation. Scuba doesn't get in. Megatron might have jinxed Black Saddle with that comment. See what Leon's able to do. Derek's the one that was really struggling for Sam Saloon. I think him taking a sit here is actually really good timing. Leon only gets out on the last, so it didn't really punish Scuba Steve's miss. Topside's basically chalk. Go ahead and take a quick moment to shout out some of the first place winning teams. JB Kettlecorn getting the win in Division 2. You have Rum Runners in Division 3 getting the win. Division 4 is Has-Beens. Division 5 still playing their final. Division 6, Fat Joe Ramjets get the win. Division 7 is Revolutions. 8th is Dre's Juniors Pubs. 9 is Log Cabin Diane. 10 is The Hill Bobby. And 11 through 28, I wish I could shout out all you guys, but we want to get back to the match. But shout out to everybody that's doing well in their finals. This is getting close to being one of the last matches, if not the last match in the building. Scuba Steve Diker has missed 5 darts on the end. Finally gets it on the last. Leon needs to pounce on this, though. Again, Bob and Matt are basically the same up top. Still only 6 points of separation. Leon needs to make Scuba punished for that decision, or not that decision, but that miss. 59 does not feel like a punishment at all, especially going first. Bob doesn't find any triples on this turn. Opportunity for Matt Jenkins. Opportunity not taken. Wow, this is going to be a little bit of a close one to the end, it seems. But now that he's in, see how the scoring's looking at the moment. The best of 7 race to 4. Oxado wins this leg. It is over. Oh, look at this. Leon Hopkins getting back into the mix. Resetting himself before throwing this last dart. And finds a 180 after some really strugglesome darts at the beginning. Timing that very well and putting a lot of pressure now on Bob Anderson to leave a finish. Even more pressure on Scuba Steve, who is sitting back at 376. First one's good for Bob. Not one of the worst misses. Last start there would have left 152. He scored for Matt Jenkins. He went there for Steve Diker. Leon can now be the first one out of finish after his early struggles. Seems to be heating up in this leg. I say, and then if you're wondering, Leon, why you missed that darts, because I jinxed you. I'm sorry. Still does lead the first look out of finish. Good setup there for 149. Bob does leave a finish at 161, but that is not what he had in mind. A bad time for a 29. Good last start there for Scuba. Helps get them back into this mix, but you thought they were going to try to win this leg here. Having some gold darts. Saloon might be able to make this 3-2. Well, only at 108. Bob Anderson eligible to go on 161. This would be a heck of a way to win the title. This would be the man to do it. Bob Anderson, 161 in a dream. Nope, not going to happen. You're supposed to get the one out of the way in the second dart, Bob, not the first. Sitting at 122 means that, well, I was about to say that Scuba would be frozen, but he's at 172. So that actually takes a lot of pressure off Matthew and Leon in this moment. They'll get the throw in the next as well, so there's still a route for Saloon, your seat holders, to get out of the situation. But if Scuba hits a really big shot here, a 140 is enough. If he hits a 140 and Leon doesn't hit the 108, Bob has a shot 122. Careful for deflections. Kicked over to the 5. 36 or less for Leon. Of course, he just wants to take it. That'd be way easier on the mind. Oh no. Gotta slow down this last start. Know what you need. Doesn't happen. Bob Anderson has a shot at 122 now. If he goes 21st, I'm turning off the stream. That's why everyone know that. Turning off the stream. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you so much for watching along. It's been a pleasure. That was our coverage of WAMO. You can't do that. You just can't afford to do that. I mean, if 418s gets you a shot, you can miss your first start and still have a shot. It's the final of Division 1 in the second set. How do you not even ask? If you're not 100% certain, why not say, "Hey, teammate"? I don't know. That's frustrating. But Matt Jenkins now can go ahead and punish that. Double top. Saloon. Break the throw. This is a big step in this process of the comeback. There it is. 3-2, and they'll get the darts in the next. So now it's up to Black Saddle to break if they don't want to go to a last leg decider where, yes, they'll have the throw, but no one wants to play the 701. Derek struggled significantly 2 legs ago. He is going to have to be the better version of himself. Doesn't need to be best. Derek and Matt both get in with 60s. Jason Watt saying the fans want a decider. It's the last streamed match of the event. Of course it's going to a decider. That is literally a rule. It happens every time. And it's like good battle going back and forth. Hopefully you're enjoying your rescheduled flight, sir. We appreciate everybody tuning in, supporting these players, supporting us here at USA Darts as well. John Pilgrim doesn't get in. That's not going to be ideal at all. Damn Saloon. It's Not about the big shots from this leg. This leg is all about just consistent shots. I'll die on this hill. I will say it till the cows come home. Then again, big shots are pretty cool too. Good 140 on the dartboard there to get to 301. They did go off script a little bit there, Josh. They didn't go to the last leg decider in the first set. It was a 4-2. That's the real script. It says maximize all the darts. 22 points there. This is looking heavier and heavier in the favor of a last leg decider. Personally, I am here for it. Contractually and physically. But also emotionally. I love it. These guys have been putting on a great back and forth battle. I mean, we saw it in the seat. We saw it in the first set, and we're seeing it now. There is moments of brilliance, and there's moments that have fallen short for both of these teams. The real question is, who wants it more at this point? Who can string it together more at this point? Who can lock in when they need to the most? .121 leaves 180 in range. They're just going to have to try to find some perfection from here on out. Not going to give up on this leg, but it's like we were talking about earlier. When you're in a situation like this, if you can come back, that's great. You always want to consider those possibilities. But all I'm focusing on is my actual throw itself and making sure it feels as good as possible before all 8 of us have to, or all 8 players have to throw in this last leg decider. I'm thinking just make sure the dart feels good, even if it's not hitting in this leg. Just make sure it feels good, because that break of 7 other people throwing before you throw is brutal to try to stay warm in. So you just need to make sure your mechanics are feeling as comfortable as possible, because you can't rely on rhythm in a situation like that. Good shot there from John Pinkham to hit the 100. Frankly, this is firmly in the control of Sam Saloon. Good last start to lead the 116. And good improvements from Derek. I was talking about how he needed to have some improvements going into this leg compared to 2 legs ago, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. Turning it around, 1 dart at a time. Helps when your opponents are struggling, but he's also subsequently picked up his darts as well. Jose doing a good job in that B position, complementing those darts. Continue to pile on the pressure of getting low. Matt and John already freeze each other by having a good shot here. Well, there's step 1 of an opening. Step 2 is John leaving a finish. Step 3 is Derek missing a finish. Step 4 is Matt getting low enough. And step 5, Jose not getting low enough. You guys following along? Well, John didn't listen. Missed step 1. Or step 2. I forgot what step was to what. Been a long day of coverage. As I said, long 5 days. Appreciate the kind words, and thank you all for tuning in and supporting us. This has been a particularly sleep-deprived Nick Dichiria this week, so it's nice that I have actually energy for this final. Well, it does leave a finish at 155. Jose cannot afford to have a too relaxed of a turn. He needs to make sure to just, even 100 is fine. But you just can't let this go completely out of the way. Find a trip. Not that one. Pilgrim hit a big shot here to set up a potential outside opportunity for Matt. It will be enough to make sure that Matt won't be frozen, but not enough to stop the 56 from happening as Jose is underneath Gauthier in points. Oh no, 17, double 16, or 9 for double 20. Outside the board. I cannot believe what we just saw there. That is a massive miss. Absolutely incredibly untimely miss, too, from Derek. I don't know what happened there, if it was just the pressure of the moment. But uncharacteristic darts now lead to big opportunities for 155. Doesn't have to go. It just needs to get brought down enough to make sure that John gets a shot if the 147 doesn't go now. Should be enough. It would be close. 22 is the target line for Jose if he doesn't take this. Need 2 trips. Now John Pilgrim will get a shot in this leg. Black Saddle has hung around and somehow figured out a way to get on through. They still got to cross that door. That's potentially the 32 could get frozen now. I can't believe what we're seeing right. 32 is all John needs to get to make sure that's the case. I would go the 20s route. The 15s for the match. It doesn't happen, but again, Derek can't shoot 32. There's a little bit of a saving grace in this moment. .32 needs to get brought down to 4. Let's do so. Now 55, 15, double top. What a moment this would be. $17, double 19. Does go! Black Saddle ends up getting the win, preventing the last leg decider from happening. And oh my goodness, they always had us guessing on their math. But man, oh man, did they get the win. 4 straight finals. Finally get the win. And the destiny has been fulfilled for the Black Saddle bunch. Matt Graff, Matt Gauthier, Steve Diker, Bob Anderson, John Pilgrim. Congratulations to you, gentlemen, for that big win there.